I remember the day I was rushed to the hospital with severe stomach pain. When the doctor revealed the cause, I was completely stunned. The sun had just started to set, painting the sky with a calm, orange hue, reflecting the serenity of what had been a perfect day. Nathan and I were at home, and it felt so warm and cozy, the air thick with love and intimacy. At 35, with my long blonde hair and blue eyes, I moved gracefully around the kitchen, preparing a special dinner for our 5th wedding anniversary. As I chopped the vegetables, my thoughts wandered to the future. I felt truly blessed to have Nathan in my life. He was my safe harbor, my fortress. I never imagined I could be this happy. Nathan, tall and always with that charming smile, came into the kitchen and wrapped his arms around me from behind. He kissed my cheek, the kind of kiss that made me feel secure, cherished. "Holly," he said softly, "our future is going to be amazing. Our love is strong, it's real. No matter how tough things may seem, remember, I'll always support your dreams." His voice was filled with tenderness and hope. Hearing those words warmed my heart, making me even more certain that I had chosen the right partner in life. As the night wore on, the table was set with candles and flowers, creating the most romantic atmosphere. We sat down to enjoy the dinner we had prepared together, sharing laughter and memories. But that peaceful moment was abruptly interrupted by the sound of the doorbell. Nathan frowned, surprised. "Who could that be at this hour?" he muttered, standing up to answer the door. When he opened it, his mother, Marcia, was standing there, her expression grave. Without asking, she walked in, her eyes cold as they landed on me. "Nathan," she began, her voice firm and unyielding, "I need to talk to you. I don't think Holly is the right partner for you. She doesn't fit into our family. I'm worried about your future. You need to think carefully about choosing someone who shares our values and traditions." As she spoke, I felt tension grip my entire body, but I straightened my posture, determined not to show any weakness. Nathan looked from his mother to me, confusion and disbelief crossing his face. "Mom," he said, his voice steady but strained, "I love Holly. She's my wife, and I chose to spend the rest of my life with her. I understand your concerns, but I need you to respect my decision. Our love is real, and together, we can overcome anything." Hearing him speak with such conviction filled me with relief and gratitude, but I could still feel the tension in the air, unresolved. Marcia, however, wasn't ready to back down. "Nathan," she continued, her tone still cold, "I've always wanted what's best for you. I'm not trying to interfere out of malice, I'm just worried. Holly doesn't seem to share the same values as us. I want you to think about your future and what's best for your life." She was trying to stay composed, but it was clear she wasn't ready to accept this. Under the table, I clenched my fists, trying to stay calm. "I understand you're concerned about Nathan," I said, my voice steady, "but our love is strong enough to overcome any differences. We are together because we love and respect each other." I stood there, unable to voice what I was truly feeling. Nathan let out a sigh, running his hand through his hair, a gesture I had seen many times before when he was frustrated. With clear irritation, he told his mother, "Mom, I know you're trying to protect me and our family, but Holly is the person I chose, and this is my life. We've built something beautiful and true together. I need you to trust me, trust my judgment. I won't abandon my wife because of biases or the expectations of others." His words made his position crystal clear, and as I listened, tears of relief welled up in my eyes. But I fought hard to keep my strength visible, not wanting to seem fragile in that moment. Marcia shook her head, clearly dissatisfied with Nathan's response. "Do you even know what you're saying, Nathan? I only want what's best for you," she said, her voice tinged with disappointment. Then, she turned toward me, her gaze sharp, almost piercing. Holly, you know what needs to be done here, don't you? If you really love Nathan, you should want the best for him too. You must realize by now that you're not the right one for him. I nodded, holding my ground, but inside, I felt the pressure mounting. In that moment, I silently vowed to myself, I'll prove that our love is stronger than any criticism. After Marcia left, the house fell into a heavy silence. Nathan returned to the table, took my hand, and squeezed it tightly. I'm so sorry, Holly, he said, his voice filled with regret. I know dealing with my family isn't easy, but we're in this together. Nothing will tear us apart. He looked into my eyes with such resolve, and I could feel his determination. I squeezed his hand back, a sense of newfound confidence rising within me. Nathan, I believe in us. We'll get through this. Our love is stronger than any challenge we face. My voice was firm, filled with certainty. The night carried on under the weight of that tension, but there was also a new resolve between us. I knew we'd face many battles together, but we were ready to fight for our love and our future. As I got ready for bed, I whispered to myself, nothing will tear us apart. We'll prove to everyone that our love is real, and we can overcome any obstacle. I nestled into Nathan's arms, feeling the comfort and warmth of everything we had built together, more determined than ever to protect it. The next few days were a mix of happy moments and underlying tension. Nathan and I tried to keep our daily lives as normal as possible, but Marcia's presence lingered, like a shadow. Every visit brought new criticisms. Nathan, you're drifting away from your real family, she'd say in that condescending tone of hers. Holly doesn't understand our traditions or values. It's obvious she doesn't fit in here. Her words hung in the air during each visit, a constant reminder of the battle we still had to face. Nathan calmly responded to his mother. He told her, Mom, Holly and I were building our own life together. I needed you to respect our decisions and the love we shared. I was in the garden one afternoon, watering the plants, when Marcia showed up once again. She didn't waste any time before saying, Nathan is giving up a better life by being with you. He needs someone who can truly understand our family, Holly. And you are not that person. I could feel anger rising inside me, but I took a deep breath before I responded. I said to her, Marcia, Nathan chose me, and I chose him. We love each other, and we believe in our future together. Even if you can't accept that, I ask that you respect it. My voice was steady, even though I felt like I was standing on shaky ground. Marcia just shook her head in disapproval and left without saying another word. As I watched her walk away, the weight of the constant battle began to take its toll on me. Even with the tension, Nathan and I always found strength in each other. One night, as we were having dinner, Nathan took my hand and looked deeply into my eyes. He told me, Holly, I love you more than anything. I know my family is complicating things, but we have to stay strong together. Nothing and no one will ever come between us. We'll get through this because our love is stronger than anyone else's opinions. I just want you to know that, no matter what happens, I'll always be by your side. His voice was full of determination, and it gave me the courage I needed. I smiled and said, Nathan, I believe in us. We will get through this together. Our love is stronger than any obstacle. His words gave me hope, and I felt a renewed sense of strength. But even though our love was real, Marcia's constant interference began to wear on both of us. I started to think about what she had said, and doubts crept into my mind. I found myself wondering if maybe she was right. Maybe I wasn't good enough for Nathan. Those thoughts haunted me, and I tried to push them away, but they lingered. Nathan could sense my worry and worked hard to reassure me, to keep the harmony between us. He would say, Holly, don't let my mother get to you. What we have is real. Every time he saw the shadow of doubt in my eyes, he'd remind me of that. The pressure from his family came to a head one night, after another unexpected visit from Marcia, and it led to a heated argument. I told him, "Nathan, I can't take this anymore. I love you, but I can't live like this, constantly being interfered with." I'm at my breaking point. My voice was filled with frustration and pain. Nathan, torn between his family and me, tried to calm me down. "Holly, I understand how much this is hurting you. But don't give up on us. We'll find a way to deal with this together. Our love is stronger than any obstacle. I promise I'll always be by your side." He held me close, and I could feel his desperation, but also his unwavering love. Despite the tension, Nathan and I were determined not to let anything destroy what we had built together. "Nathan, they might try to pull us apart. But I loved you deeply, even then." I said this with tears welling in my eyes, yet my voice remained steady. I felt Nathan's strong arms wrap around me, a comforting embrace that held the weight of responsibility and the depth of his love. He promised, "Holly, I will do whatever it takes to protect our love. I won't let them separate us." In that moment, we both understood we had to grow stronger than ever to keep our bond intact. It was a quiet Sunday morning, and as we prepared breakfast together, I looked at Nathan and felt waves of gratitude and love wash over me. He assured me, "My love for you will never run out. With love and determination, let's live our lives together." With renewed resolve and strength, we were ready to face the challenges ahead. I knew that together we could overcome anything. After breakfast, Nathan had just left the house. I felt a sense of happiness as I cleaned the kitchen, grateful for the life I had always dreamed of. Suddenly, a phone call came that would change everything. The voice on the other end trembled with urgency. "Holly, Nathan has been in a car accident. You need to come to the hospital immediately." The gravity of those words made my heart momentarily stop. As the worst reality crashed down on me, the phone slipped from my hand. No, this must be a mistake. He just left home, and he was fine, I thought, panic beginning to take control. As I rushed to the hospital, I could barely breathe. Every second felt like an eternity, my mind flooded with memories of the life Nathan and I had built together. Upon my arrival, I was greeted by a doctor with a serious expression. "Holly, Nathan is in critical condition. We will do everything we can." His words were meant to comfort, but I could barely respond, only nodding as tears streamed down my face. "Please, save him. He still has so much life to live. He is part of my world. Please, don't let him die." I whispered, my voice filled with desperation. Hours slipped away in the waiting room, each minute intensifying my anxiety. When the doctor returned, his expression spoke volumes. "I'm so sorry, Holly. Unfortunately, we did everything we could." His voice carried the weight of a professional sorrow. I felt the ground beneath my feet disappear. Panic and despair enveloped me, leaving me completely lost. Returning to our home, a heavy silence filled every room. Once filled with laughter and love, it now echoed with an endless emptiness. I felt isolated, unable to face the world without Nathan. As I moved into the bedroom, I picked up Nathan's sweater. I hugged it tightly, hoping to regain some warmth of his presence. "Without you, Nathan, everything feels so empty. What am I supposed to do now? We had dreams and a future together." Tears streamed down my face as I whispered those words. From that moment on, my days became a blur of pain and suffering. I stared at our photographs and mementos for hours, each image pierced my fragile heart. Only our memories remain, Nathan. How can I live without you? With each passing day, I felt my sense of despair grow stronger. Time seemed to lose its meaning. Every day became a battle to find a reason to live. Nathan's memories seeped into every corner of our home. In the living room, pictures from our travels and happy moments adorned the walls, constantly reminding me of the love we shared. I spent hours in front of those photos, recalling each captured moment. Tears flowed quietly down my cheeks. I never imagined life could be so cruel. The memories that once brought joy now became a source of immeasurable pain. I felt sadness taking control of every part of my existence. The pressure to return to a normal life was relentless, yet I couldn't move beyond my grief. I know everyone is trying to cheer me up, but I just can't move forward. Nathan was my everything. I need time to accept it all. I refuse to leave the sanctuary of my memories. Isolation became a prison I imposed upon myself. Each day made it harder to escape. Nathan, grant me the strength to find my way. I murmured, seeking some spiritual comfort. Even in darkness, moments of clarity emerged. I knew I needed to find a way forward. He wouldn't want to see me like this. I must find a way to live. Finally, after weeks of deep sorrow, I looked at Nathan's picture and felt a slow determination rising within me. I had to possess the strength of two. I promised myself I would find a way forward and honor our story, Nathan. I knew that the journey would be long and fraught with difficulties, but deep down, I understood it was necessary. The days following Nathan's death were some of the hardest I'd ever faced. The pain of loss felt like a constant weight, pressing down on me. Yet, the harsh and relentless reality of life struck in even more brutal ways. One cold morning, without any warning, Nathan's mother, Marcia, showed up at my door. Her expression was laced with disdain, and her words were ready, like daggers. When she finally spoke, it felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. "Get out of this house, Holly. Everything here belongs to our family. You have no right to any of it," she said, her voice dripping with cold contempt. Her words sent a chill racing down my spine. I attempted to argue, my voice trembling with emotion. "Marcia, this is the home Nathan and I built together. He wanted me here. This is our house," I said, striving to maintain my composure. But Marcia interrupted me harshly. "What are you saying, Holly? Since you showed up, our family has changed. Nathan was blinded by your charm, but I see through it. You were never one of us, and you never will be," she spat, her voice thick with resentment. Her words pierced my heart like a sharp knife, desperately trying to hold back tears as they threatened to spill over. Each accusation from Marcia felt like a heavy weight pressing down on my spirit. I felt as though I was on the verge of losing everything I had left. "Why can you be so cruel? Nathan loved everything about our life, and now you're trying to erase it all," I thought, gripped by an overwhelming sense of powerlessness. The situation dragged on, filled with pain and suffering. Marcia continued to pressure me to leave, and I fought with every ounce of strength I had, yet deep inside, I knew I was losing the battle. I am all alone. Marcia has power and influence. How could I ever win this fight? I struggled to keep hope alive in my heart. During the confrontation, Nathan's mother was relentless. Her eyes blazed with anger, a storm I could not escape. Marcia stood there, tears glistening in her eyes, yet her voice was as cold as ice. She accused me, saying, "Holly, you destroyed my family. Everything has changed. Nathan stopped coming to see me, he stopped listening to my stories, and now you're trying to take even his inheritance. That's unforgivable." The way she pointed at me, it felt like a spotlight on my shame, and the humiliation in front of everyone was unbearable. I couldn't help but wonder, why should I be blamed for loving Nathan? He was my life, my everything. I never wanted to take anything away from anyone. I tried to hold back the tears, but the weight was suffocating. Marcia moved closer, her disdain palpable in the air. She said, "You should never have been involved in my son's life. This is all your fault. If you hadn't shown up, Nathan would still be by my side. Get out now, and don't ever come back." Her words cut through me like a sharp knife, shattering what little resolve I had left. Nathan loved me. We were supposed to build a life together, but now everything lay in ruins, shredded by resentment and hatred. I fought to maintain my dignity as I watched my world crumble around me. I saw Marcia's family members starting to carry my things out of the house, carelessly tossing my belongings onto the sidewalk. "This can't be happening. This house is mine too," I pleaded, my voice laced with despair. Marcia answered without a hint of compassion, "Your place isn't here. You were a mistake in Nathan's life. Take your things and leave." Her icy words stung, and I felt my heart break all over again. As my possessions were dragged away, I felt helpless, each item a painful reminder of happier times. "Please, don't treat my things like this. These are all I have left," I begged her family, my voice trembling with sorrow. I stood there, watching the pieces of my life fall apart, trying desperately to hold back the tears. In that moment, I felt completely lost. The house where Nathan and I shared our dreams now felt empty and cold, a symbol of unbearable loss. "Nathan, I need you. What am I supposed to do without you?" I whispered to myself as I wandered the streets, feeling utterly adrift. I didn't want to reach out to friends or family. I didn't want to be a burden to anyone. I have to find a solution on my own. I can't rely on anyone else. I tried to gather what little strength I had left. In that moment of despair, I sought refuge. As I walked, Marcia's cruel words echoed relentlessly in my mind. She had accused me, saying I had stolen her son away, that if he hadn't strayed from her, none of this would have happened, that he should still be alive. Her words repeated in my head like a painful mantra. I knew I needed to find the strength to move forward, but at that moment, the weight of pain and betrayal felt insurmountable. "Nathan, what would you do? How do I even begin to heal?" I whispered, seeking a spark of courage to keep living. As I distanced myself from what used to be my home, I felt the crushing weight of the world on my shoulders. I can't stay like this. I have to find a way to reclaim my life, to honor your memory in a way that would make you proud. I felt a seed of determination start to sprout from within me. I may have lost my home, but our memories remain. For all we built together, I will fight. I promised myself that. I closed my eyes, trying to find a sliver of peace amidst the chaos life had thrown at me. With no place to sleep and no money to my name, I could only find a rundown shack to call home. Moving into this new place was a heavy blow for me. It was small, with damp stains on the walls and a ceiling that felt ready to collapse at any moment. There was hardly any furniture, and what little there was lay in disarray. The corners of the room whispered of abandonment and despair. How am I supposed to live like this? With no money and no job, this house is crumbling just like my life. I need to find a way to survive, but I don't even know how. I looked around, wrapped in a blanket of helplessness, as I murmured my thoughts. The first few days in that house were a struggle. I cleaned and tried to make it livable, but it felt like an endless task. Even the smallest progress was overshadowed by the grim reality of my surroundings. "Nathan, if you were here, you would have offered some good advice. I don't even know where to start." The weight of my solitude pressed down on me even more as those thoughts raced through my mind. I cried from frustration and exhaustion, yet I knew I couldn't give up. Every day is a battle. I have to be strong for myself and for everything Nathan believed in. Even when everything looks dark, I can't lose hope. I tried to find work to make ends meet, but opportunities were scarce, and rejection was my constant companion. The labor market felt cruel and relentless. I walked around the city, submitting resumes and going to interviews, but all I received were rejections. How was I supposed to find a job when no one was giving me a chance? I had spent too long taking care of the house, and now no one wanted to hire me. I felt the weight of rejection bearing down on me. Each closed door seemed to deliver another blow to the already fragile hope I clung to, yet I knew I had to keep trying. Nights were especially hard. The loneliness and silence of my home only deepened my sense of despair. I wrapped myself in a thin blanket, seeking warmth against the chill that welled up from within me. In those moments, memories of Nathan flooded my mind. I recalled our happy times together, and promises of a future that now felt like a distant dream. Nathan, I missed you so much. Why did you have to leave so soon? Tears streamed down my face as I thought about the emptiness his absence left behind, a void that nothing could fill. Still, I struggled to keep going. I woke early, tidied up the house, and prepared small meals with the little food I had, all while continuing my search for work. Life felt like an endless series of chores and futile attempts, but I knew I couldn't let it defeat me. I had to keep pushing forward. I couldn't let despair win. In the chaos, I sought to find my strength. Winter brought even more challenges. The cold seeped through the cracks of the house, making the nights feel longer and lonelier. I huddled under blankets and wore old clothes to keep warm, but discomfort was a constant companion. Even on the toughest nights, I forced myself to remember Nathan's encouraging words. "Holly, you are strong. You've always been. Don't give up." I repeated those words like a mantra to survive. Food began to dwindle. With just a little money and food, I had to make it last. I often endured hunger just to stretch what little I had. Worries about the future weighed heavily on my mind. How would I feed myself moving forward? I had nothing left. I lost everything: my home, my love, my hope for a happy future. I thought about the crushing anxiety that hung over me, refusing to let go. I found myself discovering an inner strength amid those challenges. As I sat in the old chair, looking out through the dirty windows of my home, I began to see life from a new perspective. I thought to myself, I had to be strong, just like Nathan always was. I couldn't let the situation defeat me. I needed to find a way to rebuild my life. A new determination welled up within me, pushing me to keep fighting despite the adversity I faced. For me, for Nathan, for everything we shared together. I won't give up. I made a promise to myself, gazing at the future with cautious yet unwavering hope. A few weeks after Nathan's death, I was still struggling to adapt to this new reality. Living in a crumbling house, I sought some semblance of stability amidst the chaos. One afternoon, as I sorted through my few belongings, a sharp pain shot through my abdomen. What is happening? Why is this pain hitting me now? I doubled over in agony, trying to think through the haze of discomfort. I attempted to stand, but the pain was too severe, leaving me immobilized. It might be because I haven't been eating properly. I've hardly eaten anything lately. I pondered the cause of my suffering, trying to make sense of it. That night, I lay awake, unable to sleep. The abdominal pain worsened as the hours dragged on. Nathan, if only you were here, I thought, my face wet with tears. The fear of the unknown gripped me, and I felt the urgent need for help. This pain shouldn't be normal. It won't subside. Maybe I should try drinking a cup of tea to see if that helps. I whispered to myself, trying to summon the courage to face this new challenge. The next morning, the pain was still intense, and I could no longer ignore it. As I attempted to have breakfast, memories from the past few months flooded back into my mind. I can't believe I've become this weak. I haven't been eating properly since Nathan left. That has to be part of it. I tried to convince myself that my pain was due to my poor eating habits. The discomfort persisted throughout the day, relentless and unforgiving. I pushed myself to continue my daily routine, but each task felt harder than before. What's going on? This might be serious. Confusion and fear began to set in deeper within me. I felt an overwhelming sense of isolation as I thought about how I needed to talk to someone about my pain, yet I had no idea whom to turn to. Nathan had been my only family, and now I wondered who would help me. Could I really face the hospital alone, grappling with this agonizing pain? The question echoed in my mind, and I wrestled with feelings of despair. Eventually, I picked up the phone, making the difficult decision to call my former mother-in-law, Marcia. Despite everything that had happened between us, a glimmer of hope flickered within me that she might offer some support. Marcia, please listen. I've been experiencing intense abdominal pain since last night. I don't know what's causing it. Would you be able to take me to the hospital? I asked, holding on to the slimmest hope for compassion. But when Marcia responded, her words were as cold as ice, laced with resentment. Holly, you've always brought trouble into my son's life. I don't want to help you, and I won't. If you're suffering, it's your own doing. Solve your problems by yourself. Her words stung like a slap, and she abruptly hung up. In that moment, I felt even more lost and defeated. Why is she so cruel? Why does she always treat me like this? I haven't done anything wrong. Why does she blame me for Nathan's absence? I lost him too. Am I destined to die alone? Is this how my story ends? Tears streamed down my face as these thoughts consumed me. The pain persisted, and I realized I desperately needed help. I understood that time was running out. I had to go to the hospital. I have to get to the hospital. Somehow, I need to make it there. I can't stay like this. I'll wait a little longer, but if I don't feel better, I have to go. I tried to convince myself, summoning every ounce of strength within me. The afternoon dragged on like a slow crawl. As I sorted through my belongings, trying to distract myself from the pain, every movement reminded me of how weak I felt. I have to manage this on my own. I can't let it get worse. I clung to my determination, but the weight of my struggle pressed heavily on my heart. As night fell, the pain intensified once more, and I realized I couldn't wait any longer. I'll go to the hospital first thing in the morning. I can't ignore this any longer. I resolved to find a moment of peace to carry me through the night. I lay down, but sleep eluded me. Pain and anxiety danced through my mind, keeping me wide awake. Nathan, our love had given me the strength to overcome everything. Now, more than ever, I need that strength. I understood the road ahead would be difficult, but I was determined to confront it. For me, for us, I have to keep fighting. I felt a new determination bubbling up inside me as I whispered this promise to myself. I woke up the next morning, pain gripping my abdomen more fiercely than ever before. I knew I had no choice but to seek help. I can't die like this. I have to keep fighting. Nathan would want that for me. As I prepared to go to the hospital, I wrestled with a mix of determination and fear of the unknown. Arriving at the local hospital, I was enveloped by a whirlwind of anxiety and dread. The abdominal pain still raged within me, and I realized I could no longer postpone the examination. When I stepped into the examination room, a serious yet warm-faced female doctor greeted me. Ms. Holly, I have a few questions to ask you. I need to understand your condition better. As she prepped for my examination, I nodded, striving to remain calm while explaining my recent pain and events. The doctor listened attentively, jotting down notes and probing further. Before these pains started, was there anything different in your life? Any stressors or changes in your routine? She asked in a soothing voice. I described the visit from Marcia and how the pain had begun after dinner that night. I'm not sure if it's related, but I'm very worried. I recently lost my husband, and I feel like I've lost everything, so the stress has been overwhelming. I spoke, struggling to hold back tears. The doctor nodded, understanding my plight. We're going to run some tests to find the cause. She guided me to the testing room, and although the tests were swift, the wait for the results felt like an eternity. With each passing moment, my anxiety swelled. Finally, the doctor returned with the results, her expression serious yet laced with surprise. I could barely breathe from the tension. Ms. Hawley, we have unexpected news. You're 3 months pregnant. Her voice was firm yet gentle as she revealed the shocking information. I felt paralyzed, unable to process the situation. Pregnant? Is this real? I can't believe it. I whispered, overwhelmed by a wave of emotions crashing over me. The doctor continued to try to calm me down. She said she understood how shocking it could be, especially considering what I had been through. I needed to focus on caring for myself and this baby. She smiled encouragingly and told me that this news might be a hidden blessing. I still couldn't process the information. I was struggling to understand what this meant for my life. I thought to myself, Nathan, we were going to have a baby. Even though he had left, he had given me a gift. I knew I would love this child deeply. Tears filled my eyes as those thoughts swirled around in my mind. It was a mix of joy, fear, and hope. As I tried to accept the reality, I felt like I was being tossed around by a wave of emotions. I wondered, how could I possibly handle this? I was barely managing to take care of myself. My mind was overwhelmed with questions and worries. The doctor noticed my confusion and spoke gently. She assured me that she would do everything possible to keep both me and the baby healthy. She advised me to rest and eat properly. She mentioned that she would refer me to a specialist for follow-ups. After the appointment, as I sat in the waiting room, I reflected on everything that had happened over the past few months. It was an unexpected and challenging situation, yet it also brought a new sense of hope. I thought, maybe this was a sign that something new was about to begin. I had always wanted a family, and now I was getting that chance. Nathan would have been thrilled about my pregnancy. I realized I had to step up and raise this child. I needed to rebuild my life. Amidst my feelings of fear and optimism, I began to care for myself more. As I followed the doctor's advice and adjusted my diet and routines, the pain in my abdomen began to ease. Every time I thought about the baby, I was reminded that I wasn't alone. A new life was growing inside me. I reflected on how, in a way I never imagined, I felt connected to Nathan as our child developed within me. This connection gave me strength to face the difficult days ahead. I began to think more clearly about my future. I searched for social support programs and health resources for pregnant women eager to ensure my child's well-being. I realized that it might be impossible to do this alone, but with help, I could provide a meaningful life for my child. With every step I took, my confidence grew, and my resolve strengthened. I thought, Nathan, I hope you are proud of me. I was trying my best. As I whispered to myself, I found comfort in the memories of the love we shared. I finally allowed myself to feel a bit of happiness. Despite the difficult situation, becoming a mother brought a new purpose to my life. I thought, Nathan, we're going to have a baby. I will honor your memory and give this child all the love I can. I promise to build a better future for the two of us. Just a few days after the pregnancy became clear, I felt a new strength rising within me. I knew I needed to act quickly to ensure my child's safe future. I thought, Nathan, our child deserves to grow up in a safe, loving home. I can't let that be taken away. I resolved to reclaim the home I had lost. It was time to confront Marcia and advocate for my child's rights. That morning, I prepared with careful intention. I chose a simple outfit, but it conveyed the seriousness and determination I felt inside. I'm going to get our home back, Nathan. For our child. I gently caressed my abdomen as I thought about it. With firm steps, I headed towards Nathan's house, the place where Marcia still lived. Each step was filled with purpose and resolve. I knew this confrontation would be tough, but I was ready to fight for my child. Upon arriving at Nathan's house, I felt a swirl of nostalgia and anger. The place that was once filled with love was now occupied by Marcia, who had betrayed me. Taking a deep breath, I tried to calm my racing heart and pressed the doorbell. When Marcia opened the door, her surprise was evident upon seeing me. "What are you doing here? You have no right to be in this house, get out." Her voice dripped with disdain. I inhaled deeply, steadying myself before responding with determination. "No, I do have that right. This house belongs to my child. You don't have a right to be here. Nathan left everything for us, yet you drove me out in revenge, leaving nothing behind. Please leave now. I'm pregnant with Nathan's child. Our child has a right to live in this house. You may have taken everything from me, but you will not take what belongs to my child." I spoke with conviction. For a moment, Marcia fell silent, processing the news. "Pregnant? You're having Nathan's child?" Her voice trembled, a mix of shock and emotion. I nodded, feeling the tension in the air. "Yes, I am pregnant. And this child deserves the safe, loving home Nathan always wanted." I held my gaze steady as I faced Marcia. I could see the weight of her pain as she crumbled before me, tears streaming down her face. She dropped to her knees, her voice thick with emotion as she began to speak. "Holly," she said, "I know I made a lot of mistakes. The heartache and bitterness clouded my vision, and I lost sight of what I was doing. When you and Nathan got married, I was filled with anger. I thought I was losing my son, convinced he would no longer want to see me, that he wouldn't want to be near me. So, I tried to tear you two apart. But he always spoke of you with love, saying how happy you made him. It was hard for me to accept you into our lives because I was terrified of being abandoned by him. With a new family emerging, I felt like a part of myself vanished when Nathan died. He was everything to me, my reason to live. And when he was gone, I felt lost, unsure of how to move forward. All my love for him turned into anger and pain, and I lashed out at you." Her voice quivered as she spoke through her tears. Taking a deep breath, she seemed to wrestle with her emotions before continuing. "I tried to convince myself that everything was your fault. In my desperation to find meaning in my pain, I needed someone to blame, not realizing how unfair and cruel I had been. Every time I saw you, I envisioned a future that Nathan would never have, and that gnawed at me from the inside. But now, knowing that you're pregnant changes everything. This child is a part of Nathan. A part of both of you. I can't carry this hatred in my heart any longer. You only had Nathan. And I did too. He was our only family. But now, I believe he left us a gift, a chance for both of us to have a family that could connect us again." Marcia spoke with a tremor in her voice, yet there was a sense of determination behind her words. She held my gaze, searching for some way to make amends. "Please, Holly, forgive me," she had pleaded. I understood she couldn't forgive what she had done. but she was ready to do anything to regain my trust. She wanted to be a grandmother to my baby. She longed to be a part of the child's life and help care for them. She hoped for a chance to honor Nathan's memory and make amends for her mistakes. She begged me to let her help. She wanted to show that she could change, to become the person Nathan had always wished her to be. As I looked at Marcia, I felt a whirlwind of emotions stirring within me. "Marcia, we both lost Nathan," I had said softly. I knew it had been hard for her too. But now, we have a chance to start anew, to build a family for the baby. I spoke with compassion, yet I held firm in my resolve. Marcia lifted her head, her eyes glistening with tears. "Holly, we've both endured so much suffering. I just want the chance to be part of a family. I want to be a part of my grandchild's life," she had said, gripping my hand tightly. I helped her to her feet, yet I maintained an emotional distance. "If you truly want to help, Marcia, you need to earn back my trust," I had replied, my voice steady but tinged with uncertainty. I couldn't easily forget what she had done to me. "But for Nathan and our child's sake, I'll give you a chance." I felt torn between forgiveness and mistrust as I spoke. Marcia nodded, understanding the need to prove her remorse. "I'll do anything, Holly, to regain your trust. First, I'll leave the house Nathan left you and return to my own," she had declared sincerely. From that moment on, she began to show her remorse through practical actions. She helped me sort through the house, went grocery shopping, and prepared meals. Each action was an attempt to demonstrate her willingness to change, to rebuild the lost trust. "I'm trying, Nathan. I'm striving to be the person you always wanted me to be," she thought, pouring her love into every detail. I remained cautious, yet slowly, I started to believe in her sincerity. As we cleaned and organized the house, we shared conversations filled with memories and emotions. Nathan always wanted the best for us. "He would be so happy to see us working together," I said, feeling a deep spiritual connection to him. Tears streamed down Marcia's face as she smiled at my words. He was a wonderful man. And now, we could honor his memory by creating a loving home for this baby. As Marcia shared this, I felt a new determination blossoming within her. The days that followed were devoted to preparing our home for the baby. Marcia and I worked tirelessly, feeling a fresh energy and purpose with each task we tackled. I promised myself, this baby will grow up in a safe and loving home, no matter what. Each day, my resolve strengthened as I made this vow. The house, once a place of sorrow and loss, was transforming into a sanctuary of hope and love. As night fell, Marcia and I sank onto the sofa, tired but satisfied with our progress. I thought, "Nathan, our child will have a wonderful home. We will raise them with all our hearts." Gently, I cradled my belly, feeling the warmth of life within me. The pain had eased significantly, and for the first time in a long while, I felt a sense of inner peace. I whispered, "We are ready to walk this new path together," feeling Nathan's love wrapping around me like a comforting blanket. The house was prepared, and although Marcia and I knew many challenges lay ahead, we stood resolute, ready to face them. As a gentle breeze blew through the open window, I felt a sense of new beginnings wash over me. Months passed since Marcia and I began to rebuild our lives together. Our relationship grew stronger, and the trust that once felt irretrievable was now blossoming like spring flowers. I felt more resilient, ready for whatever challenges awaited us. "Nathan, I want you to know our child will soon arrive. We are ready to welcome them with all the love in the world." I rubbed my growing belly, cherishing the anticipation. Finally, the day arrived. On a bright morning, contractions began, and Marcia rushed me to the hospital. The labor was difficult, but I focused on the future I was building for Nathan and our child. "God, please protect me. I want to bring this child into the world healthy. I want to give my baby the love they deserve. Wherever Nathan is, let our child bring happiness not only to me but to his mother as well. Show that despite all our differences, we united for the sake of this baby. I gripped Marcia's hand tightly, her presence a source of strength. Hours later, the sound of a baby crying filled the delivery room. I had given birth to a healthy boy, and my heart swelled with joy and relief. When the nurse placed the baby in my arms, I was overcome by a wave of unconditional love I had never known before. You are my new hope, my little Leo. I promise to give you all the love your father and I always dreamed of and to raise you well. Our lives are just beginning, and I will do anything to make you happy. You are already so loved and cherished. We have been waiting for you. Tears of happiness streamed down my face as I whispered. Marcia watched me with tears in her eyes, feeling a deep gratitude and love for her grandchild. She said I had a beautiful child, one that looked just like Nathan. I could see how proud Nathan would have been of this little one. I smiled back at her, filled with a sense of fulfillment and accomplishment. I agreed that we would honor Nathan's memory by creating a home full of love and happiness for our little Leo. From that day forward, both Marcia and I devoted ourselves to caring for the baby. Every moment felt precious, and I sensed a new purpose had awakened within me. Holding Leo in my arms made me feel like I could overcome anything. I thought about building a life brimming with happiness and love, filled with memories of my father. This felt like the beginning of a new journey. As I rocked him to sleep, I reflected on how every smile and cry from little Leo was a reminder of the love Nathan and I had shared. The arrival of the baby transformed my life completely. Sleepless nights and the relentless demands of a newborn were challenging, yet I found immense joy in every tiny gesture he made. I prayed, speaking to Nathan about how our son was growing strong and healthy. I felt his presence with me, as if he was right there. Those prayers provided me with strength. Marcia was always nearby, helping in any way she could, showing her unconditional love for her grandchild. As the days turned into weeks, I started to plan for the future with more clarity. I wanted to give little Leo every opportunity possible, ensuring he grew up in a loving and safe environment. I promised Leo that I would do everything I could for him to have a happy life. I felt as if Nathan was guiding us, protecting us from wherever he was. Walking with the baby in my arms through the garden, I felt the struggles of the past fading into distant memories, replaced by a future glowing with hope. Marcia continued to atone for her past mistakes, saying she would do anything to help raise Leo. While preparing meals and caring for the house, she showed her dedication. I cautiously began to trust her again. I thanked Marcia, saying we were starting to build something new and beautiful together. Our home, once a symbol of sorrow and loss, is now filled with laughter and vitality. I knew many challenges awaited us, but I had made a firm decision to face them with courage and love. I whispered to Nathan, feeling his spirit surrounding me, we would honor your memory by giving our child the life you always dreamed of. This house is where it all begins. As the gentle breeze flowed in through the open window, it carried a sense of new beginnings. Seated on the sofa, cradling little Leo in my arms, I finally feel that my life is on the right path. With each passing day, I sense a growing strength and confidence within me. With Marcia's support and the love for my son, I know I can face any challenge life throws my way. Leo, I'll build a beautiful future for you. I'll always be by your side when you need me. Remember, you are loved by your grandma, me, and your dad, I murmured, feeling Nathan's love enveloping us. The path ahead, though Nathan was gone, is filled with promise and hope. I take each step forward, steadily and purposefully. Rocking my son, I feel a profound sense of fulfillment. My little Leo, you have brought light into my life. Holding you makes me realize we can overcome anything. Together, we'll build a life overflowing with happiness and love, filled with memories of your father. This is the beginning of our new journey, I whispered, enveloped in deep peace. I held my son close, knowing that with Marcia's support, our future would be full of love and happiness. I am ready to embark on this new life, convinced that the love connecting us would be the foundation of a fulfilling and hopeful life.
If you enjoyed this story, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Your support motivates us to bring you moving stories almost every day. Don't miss our next amazing story, it's coming to your screen soon. Thank you so much for being with us. You can click the link displayed on your screen now. We have special selections filled with valuable stories and guaranteed enjoyment just for you. See you there.